Welcome back to the Fit as Flock podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Bush. Each week, we're going to be talking about all things mindset, fitness, and nutrition. It is my hope to provide you with tangible tips that you can apply to your own health and wellness journey. So today, we are going to be talking about a very timely topic, at least for me, and that is how to get back to your fitness and nutrition routine after being sick, or really what to do while you're sick, how to handle all of that. I say that it's timely because many of you know that I am coming off having had COVID, and I've shared kind of my journey back to all the things on Instagram, and it's kind of been a ride. I think that it's been a very humbling experience for me, and so I want to share some of the things that I have done, or give you some tips on things that maybe you can avoid that I did myself that just led to not the most pleasant experience. So first and foremost, if you are coming back from being sick, or if you are sick and you're stressed out about your fitness, your nutrition, all going by the wayside, know that time is on your side. You are going to get better. Give yourself a whole lot of grace. It is no fun, especially mentally, to kind of work through all of the different thoughts that tend to come up when you're not feeling well. So one of the things that really helped me but felt kind of weird was to stick to my normal routine. And what I mean by that is I still got up early in the morning for the most part, as long as I had slept okay the night before, just as a placeholder in my day. So I typically work out first thing in the morning. So I still got up early, even though I wasn't working out. There were actually a couple days in there that I may have woken up early, went ahead and did a little bit of, reading and just relaxing until the kids got up, got to school, and then I actually went back to sleep. So it was really just more of a keeping my body in the habit of waking up early. One of the things that I found to be very, very difficult while I was sick was the nutrition piece. I lost my sense of smell, I lost my taste, and so I had no appetite. There were a few things I could taste, but they tasted very weird. Peanut butter was one of them, and it still tastes weird to me. I am a little over a week having been sick, so it was a 7 days, so it's been 7, 8, 9, about 10 days at this point. And I would say that my sense of smell, my taste has started to come back, but it's just not nearly as intense as it was before. So I'm super hopeful that it'll come back, but I've not heard the best things from some people that theirs never did return. So we'll see. I'm not going to manifest that for myself, but we'll see how things go. All we can do is the best we can do, right? But focusing on protein when you can eat is really important. I personally lost about 7 pounds over that period of time. Granted, much of that was simply water weight, but I was really having a hard time eating. And for someone like me, I've worked really, really hard to build the muscle mass that I do have on my body. So I was like, I don't want to lose this. And so you know that when you are not fueling your body, eventually, as your body needs fuel, it's burned through its glycogen because that's where it's going to go first. We get our glycogen into our cells through consuming carbohydrates. You know that naturally at some point your body's going to begin to break down muscle to get that protein for fuel. So that's just how it works. So trying to continue to focus on protein if you can is really important. So I did things like I drank protein shakes, but it was few and far between. I would say that I maybe drank 2 during that span of time, but I did try to eat things that had protein, but I didn't do perfect. At some point, it just became about actually consuming some calories to try to feel a little bit better. And sometimes that was protein and oftentimes it wasn't. So it's definitely a do your best scenario, but just like we do when we're focusing on our nutrition on a regular basis, we talk about protein. It's also really important as your body tries to heal and recover from being sick. Sleeping is a huge piece of the puzzle so your body can rest and recover. Many of us are moms, and so that can be really difficult when we're sick and we still have kids to take care of. It's a lot. Thankfully, I have a very supportive and hands-on spouse that was able to help me out along with my mom. She took the toddler for a little while for a couple days because it was just a lot. I was totally down and out, which was humbling. You think, oh, I'm young and healthy and it's not going to be that bad. I'm not going to get that sick. And that just wasn't the case. I mean, obviously I wasn't there are people that have had it much worse situation than me, but I thought that I would like breeze through it, no problem. Like I'd have some little sniffles or whatever, and it would be like kind of a non-event, but that simply just wasn't the case. So it was a little bit of a humbling experience for me, but it's okay. Sometimes we need that. So sleeping, I did a lot of sleeping. I really, really struggled with my hydration. So if I can give you any piece of advice, it's to focus on hydration using like an electrolyte drink. So I had my husband making me, we use Ultima here at home. It's an electrolyte powder. So I had him making some of those drinks for me to help with my hydration. But again, it wasn't perfect. So I think if you want to sum this episode up with like a few words, it's do your best and forget the rest. That's about all we can do in this scenario. Going slow and steady and realizing that if you can strike this balance between grit and grace, it's going to serve you so well. So what do I mean by that? When I think of grit, I think of the ability to push myself through a workout. And when I think of grace, I think of meeting myself where I'm at on a given day. And our bodies are not going to be the same every single day based on what's going on, illness, how you're feeling, sleep, where you are in your cycle, all these different things, right? So when you're sick, meeting yourself it kind of in that intersection between grit and grace is super important, because we don't want to white knuckle and push ourselves through a workout just to get one in, because you can end up doing more harm than good. And that's the last thing we want to do. Your body's already trying to recover and repair. The last thing that you want to do is make that process more difficult. So, but oftentimes we feel better when we do move and when we do exercise. So I would still try to get in a workout and see how I would feel. So my strategy for that is using what I call the 10-minute rule. This is nothing fancy, but it has worked really well for me and many of my clients. So I want to share it with you today. So what I will do is take a look at my phone, set a timer for 10 minutes and say, okay, you're going to just get going for 10 minutes into this workout and see how you feel, and then make a determination. Because many times we wake up, at least for me, being in my late 30s, I wake up and it's not like I feel amazing as soon as my eyes open. So I kind of got to get moving to see like how my body actually feels that day. And oftentimes I need to like at least get into a little bit of a workout. So I did take some heat on Instagram, people telling me that like, hey, you don't need to be working out, blah, 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 blah. But really, what I was doing, obviously I know what I'm doing at this point in my whole journey. And so I very much trust myself and my ability to recognize what my body's telling me, was really to test and see like, where am I today? How do I truly feel? So getting into a workout for 10 minutes is seeing how you feel and deciding. Like there was one day where I got started and we were going along and I was doing some walking and I was like, man, I really just don't feel great. I felt like I was on a boat for several days, like just walking around. I was very dizzy and disoriented. And so I was like, today's going to need to be a day where I hop on the Peloton and I simply just move my legs. I put on a ride just to get like the energy and have some fun music or whatever, but I really didn't like follow the metrics. I was just creating some heat within my body and then followed it up with a 10-minute stretch and called it a day. It was very, very minimal impact and minimal effort that I used for that workout. And so that's what it was for me one day. There was one day where I went down and I really didn't think I felt that good. But after I got going for about 5 minutes, I was like, oh, wow, I actually feel really good today. And so I was able to get more of a normal workout in. So using that kind of 10-minute marker is a great way to kind of check in with yourself and take inventory and go, okay, let me move my body. Let me create some heat, create some energy, and see how I really feel. And knowing that it's okay to give yourself grace and give yourself that pass to stop and say, you know what? Today is not the day. I'm not there just yet. I know I will be eventually, but now's not that day. So for me, I had to keep not only me, my husband had to remind me of this on multiple occasions, like understanding that it's gonna take time to feel normal again. And so even today on 10 days, I got sick 10 days ago, I still don't feel quite right. And what I mean by that is like my heart rate is getting really high very quickly during exertion, so during a workout. And I know that because that's just something I pay attention to. I can also just feel it in my body. Yes, I wear a tracker. I think the heart rate monitor is not overly accurate. I mean, it does have some degree of accuracy, but I use it more for benchmark data, as I've shared before. But I can tell that it's like getting up higher. I'm getting breathless faster. And so there's lots of reasons that that's happening, but it is something that I had to recognize and go, okay, so I did a strength training workout today, and then I was following that up with just I was going to do a short run on my treadmill, and I just didn't have it in me to do like these interval pushes. And so I had to pull it way back and jog at a pace that was like lower than my normal jog pace, and super humbling, but it's like, that's where my body was today. And so at some point you go, okay, are you going to white knuckle this and potentially do more harm than good? Or are you going to listen to your body and maybe dial it back a bit? You're still getting that movement in. You're still feeling really good. You're still feeling accomplished, but you've dialed it back. You've met your body where it's at today, knowing that tomorrow you might feel totally different. You might feel better. You might feel worse. But we're going to go through this whole process again. So it really is a good practice, because we're never going to feel the same on one given day and the next. So this is a good practice, not only for when you're sick and coming back from it, but also just in general. The other thing that I would encourage you to do if you're listening to this and you're sick right now, or you're coming off of it, is to focus on everything you are doing versus feeling like there are so many things you aren't doing. It is so easy to go, well, normally I would be doing this and this and that. I would be tracking my macros and hitting my protein and getting my water and, getting the workout in and 10,000 steps a day. And oh my gosh, I've done 2 of those. Oh, this is horrible. That is kind of a gut punch to me. I am very type A. I like checking off the list. I like doing the things and accomplishing and getting the things done. But the reality is, sometimes life's going to throw you a curveball, and that's just not going to be the case. And we all are going to go through various seasons of life where you simply are spread so thin, you cannot do all the things. You just can't. So sometimes you have to go, okay, I'm going to focus on everything I did really freaking well today, and I'm going to let the rest of that go. I'm going to celebrate the small wins of all of the things that I did. And then tomorrow, I'm going to try to do all of those things 1% better. Maybe I'll get one other little thing in there that I wanted to do, but I'm not going to dwell on all the things that I didn't do, because it will start to bog you down. And so celebrating those small wins, focusing on what you did really, really well, is going to serve you so much better than feeling like you're failing because you couldn't check all of the boxes. Listen, rarely in a day do I check all the boxes. It's just, for me, I've noticed the big shift in mom life. Like, there's just so many boxes to check, and I'm not going to be able to check them all every single day. So, in short, lower your standards. Oh, this is one that I just had in there, and I just wanted to share it because it was something that I was doing a few days ago when I wasn't feeling great. And that was just simply walking is a great way to kind of ease back in. If you're going, man, I was doing a pretty rigorous workout routine before, I just don't know that I feel ready for that. Simply walking is a great way. And that's how I start every single workout. I'm trying to work on, I'm building in my steps for the day, right? So I try to do that as a little bit of a warm up. It's part of how I kind of get my body warm and moving every morning when I am going to work out. But it is a great way to start to take inventory to see how your body really feels. So don't discount these little things that might seem little, but they are super effective. So walking, super low impact, accessible to everyone. It's something that you can do, and it's not going to, be super detrimental to your body, to your healing process. So all of that to say, if you are coming back, know that if you're struggling, it will get better. You will feel better. If I can give you any piece of advice through the process of healing, returning, getting back on track, it's do your best, forget the rest, because ultimately that's really all we can do. And I know that sounds silly, but it really is all that we can do. So if you can learn to meet yourself at that intersection of grit and grace, it's going to serve you really well. So thank you so much for listening today. If you found this at all helpful, please share it on your Instagram story and tag me at Lindsey D. Bush. Also, please feel free to shoot me a DM, send me any future podcast episodes, topic ideas that you would love to hear. I would love to put them out for you. So I would love to hear your ideas. Thank you again so much for listening, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.